Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Inside Raider Nation, live from Zaxby's. I'm Sonny Zapeta, voice of the Raiders, your host for tonight's show. Alongside me is the man, head coach Josh Mann of the Rouse Raiders.
Good evening, everybody.
Producer for tonight's show, the guy behind the camera, guy playing all this wonderful sound effects and the awesome music.
Yeah.
I hope to see if Taylor Swift comes out tonight.
I'm counting on it.
I don't know. I may not, considering how about the Steelers stunk it up last night.
He took the thunder out of the room.
He
That's the idea, isn't it?
He took the thunder away from it.
That's Mr. Chuck Licata is our producer, and our QA back in the KMAX studios is Mitchell Padgett for tonight's show. So we're going to get started right away, Coach. And before we do that, we're going to thank our sponsors for bringing you Inside Raider Nation, as well as Rouse Raider Football, the 2018 season. And I'll let you start right down here, Coach.
Yeah, we got Whitestone Physical Therapy, Austin Telco, Smile on Orthodontics, Watch It To You, Serrano's, Shop 1431, and Shiny Dental.
We also have our featured sponsor, Zaxby's, who's a host of Inside Raider Nation each and every Monday night. Also, the Fan Club, Mighty Fine Burgers, Rudy's Barbecue, State Farm Insurance Agent Richard Munoz, Bush's Chicken, Mad Training, PDQ, IT Backbone, Chicken Express. Also want to thank Club Z Tutoring of Cedar Park, Dos Salsas, Safeguard, the Tri-Doc, and our friends over at Rouse Youth Football Association. So we're going to jump right into it, Coach, and we're going to talk about the game last week. And, man, it's sore subject for both you and I. And it's not going to define a season.
No.
I know we tell the kids that. But anytime you have that kind of game that you want to play one of your rivals and it doesn't turn out in your favor, it's always maybe a little harder for us to swallow. You guys move on because you have another game this week.
Yeah, I mean, we put that to rest pretty quick afterwards. It was, there was a lot of opportunistic moments in that game where we looked really good. I mean, I thought we played some of our better football in spurts and at times in that game. Especially on the offensive side of the ball, even though we only got 7 points. We were able to flip the field. We were able to drive the ball. We threw the ball better than we had all year. Pass protection was outstanding. Did a great job picking up multiple blitzes where we have struggled. We made a lot of gains that you don't see necessarily on paper on the scoreboard, but when you watch the film and you get into the coaching details, there was a lot of big movements there. Defensively, we didn't have the game we wanted the first half. I think what we showed the second half is what we were pretty much capable of doing most of the night. And there were just some opportunistic moments. We had them where we really wanted them, to be honest. And then a guy falls down on coverage and turns a guy loose. And we don't get our eyes quite right in the spot and had a chance for an interception that we just missed, and they score a touchdown on. I mean, in all reality, it probably could have been a 21-10, 21-14 game. I do have to give credit to them. They're the better team right now than we are, and we're gaining on them, I think, each year. But, we also came a long ways from the previous 2 years that we played them, though, too.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what Chuck and I were talking about, after the game was, I don't think they're 24 points better than the Rouse Raiders this year. I don't think that by any means, because if you look at it, it was one of the keys of the game that you talked about was surviving the first quarter.
Yeah.
And it was 7-7 at the end of the first quarter.
Right
where you wanted to be. And then it was just those plays in the second quarter, 21 points. You go in at halftime, it's 28-7. Take that away, and now you look at how many points they score in the second half. 3 points, and you shut them down. Field goal was all that they got in the second half. And that was the opening drive to start that third quarter. And you thought, maybe the Rouse Raiders are still in the locker room at halftime. But they responded. That bend, don't break defense came out, and they stopped them and forced the field goal.
Yeah, and we were giving them a defensive game plan going in was force them to run the ball, and because they don't want to, even though that they could have in one set they could have ran all night on us, but we were going to be patient with that. We were going to make them do that because that's just not their MO. They got to throw it, and we kind of had them pegged. First half, we probably had 2 or 3 calls I'd like to have back defensively where we were still coming up in a little more heavy man coverage out of our dime nickel look that probably halfway looking back at it we could have mixed up. We did a great job of, I thought, adjusting and showing and getting out, and we bluffed some stuff the second half and had them really scrambling. They are a tempo-based offense, and there was a lot of times they got the line and they had to pause and look back and didn't know, and that threw us a little off guard. We didn't expect that from them, and so it took us about a series to catch up. And then once we started moving our coverages around and not letting them just look and see what we were and giving them one look and playing into a second, we kind of had them scrambling. There was still, unfortunately, our goal was to take number one out of the game, and we failed on that. And we had a plan for it. We didn't execute it at times, and we didn't put our kids in position to execute it at times. So that's on us.
But, again, like you said, they blitzed early.
Oh, yeah.
And quite often, and you could see them just bringing the house, which left your receivers in one-on-one coverage. And Ethan did a good job. And I don't know if it was that design call or if it was kind of a check where you put Tavian out in the slot, and because you guys saw something. We have the luxury of sitting next to Coach Cowling, although he should have called that play earlier. That's what I kept telling him. He wouldn't listen to me. But anyway, called it, and Ethan made the great throw. And Ethan didn't even see the completion because he was on his back because they were coming after him.
Yeah, we knew they tipped their hand a little more this year than they had in the past. They didn't disguise as well, so we felt if they showed certain man situations, we needed to make a check at the line, shift the back, and go. I almost got it the second time. Maybe it could have been maybe one more opportunity. We could have got that off. But that was a great call on Ethan's part to check it. Good job of the coaches trusting and putting that in the game plan where we could get that call in and take advantage of that and get one-on-one with the linebacker and hit that spot. He also had the green light to check the fade balls that we threw deep, and we were just a little timing off. They were close. I thought once we could have maybe got a little bit of a pass interference. It looked like a little hold, but we were willing to open the plan up, and that stopped the blitz for a while for them. They kind of had to get off their heels because they knew that was a mismatch that they couldn't be in all night, and so that helped create the running game, and the motions and stuff created several inside zone lanes for Tavion to get loose in, and I thought overall it went fairly well. We just unfortunately had to drive the field, and then we got down to that 30-40. We'd have that one or two plays that would set us back. And then we'd get in that ugly fourth down range where we're looking at 48 to 50. The wind was swirling down there. Then it got wet. It's like, we did go out kick, but the wet ball, and we dropped it. And, we just had a couple of uncharacteristic things there that kind of cost us points.
So from our vantage point looking, and this may kind of bleed into what Chuck was going to talk to you about, but from our end, you have, and I'm not second-guessing you at all.
Mm-hmm.
I think the question is how big is Huntley?
6'4",
6'5", somewhere in there. There was a couple of times, and it's easy after the fact that he may have been open over the middle. I don't know that would have played a factor into maybe finding the tight end, maybe the intermediate stuff. I just don't think he had enough time because they were bringing so much to even intermediate stuff wouldn't have worked.
No, what we were trying to do is get the ball. We had a couple of DBs we were really going after with Jack and with Botello, with Drew, and some of those. And some of the things that we were able to get off, we removed the pocket a little bit. We're trying to get the tight ends more involved with Huntley and a couple things. Not to give anything going away later, but no, it's easy to overlook. Yeah, the pressure up the middle, especially where number 90 was, that was kind of dictating a couple of things, and then we had a couple of injuries on the offensive line that happened in the game that kind of forced us where we were wanting to set our protection, which sometimes takes our quarterback's eyes to a different spot too.
Yeah, and he was doing, and I don't think he had a chance to get past his first read, much less his second and third read.
At times, but you get, we're still learning our pocket presence, and at times there was time, but you feel that not sure, and then when you have to start jumbling the offensive line around because of injuries, that sometimes creates the timing, and the quarterback's clock speeds up because he's not for sure, because that's not the guys. And you watch NFL, college football, the most important group to have the most unity is the O-line. Mm-hmm. And when that group's all together, and you look at the Cowboys and teams that when they're where they're at, it's because they're healthy. You'll see these NFL teams that'll start separating themselves the next couple weeks, and it's guaranteed it's probably because their whole line's healthy and playing together. And when you start shuffling those pieces, that quarterback's like, yeah, that guy's new, and he hadn't been in the fire as long, and he busted that in practice, and I've seen him not block, and that's in your head, unfortunately. And you got to trust, and as the game went on, we started trusting more and started getting it out better.
Yeah, and the timing, I think, for Ethan was really good. I mean, he threw the ball 24 times in the game, the most that he's thrown all season for 92 yards, almost broke the 100-yard mark there. The only game that he broke 100 was against Anderson, 115 yards. And the biggest stat is there was no interceptions.
Yeah.
So, anytime that you're hurried like that can cause bad decisions. But I think a lot of times there was times when Jack or Drew, it was just within a step. The timing just wasn't quite there. And that was just because of the pressure. But talk about on the defensive side, are you going to see more teams that are going to attack one side or the other? It always seems to go to Cliff's side. Do you see covering over the top with a safety? Do you see is there more man coverage or more zone?
We're going to continue to mix it up. We have to. We can't sit in one thing with quarterbacks today in the spread offense. If you give them the same coverage over and over, they're going to expose you. And that's where we were a little frustrated is we didn't mix up our coverage as much the first half to give them different looks. I thought, from the setback, Cliff came out with the highest grade he's had all year. He had a great game. They tried to test him a couple of times. He almost had one interception in the red zone. We knew they were going to go back rough once or twice, and I thought Everton did a great job of coming back from his, really first big experience start last week with Commerce, and he really played a great game. I mean, he's still learning a lot of football because it's been years since he's played being out of basketball. He really grew up in that game and had some big ones. We got to get a little more play out of our safeties. Connor and Ugo, they're playing great at times, and at times they're trying to do too much and not stay within what they're told to do because they're trying to go maybe work somewhere else. And if they just stay in that frame, that's where we could have probably picked up another couple more balls there.
Yeah, but you can't fault them there. I mean, they wanted to win that
game.
They're
trying.
They wanted to win that game.
It was not a lack of effort, that was for sure.
Yeah, there was definitely not a lack of effort.
So, Coach, obviously been my third week, my second game, so bear with me if you've been asked before, but the offense seemed to have moments, seemed to be driving the ball consistently throughout the game. But it's one of those, and Sonny had mentioned on the broadcast that you've said this before, we're just not finishing. We're not finishing. We're not consistently finishing. At this point of the season, what do you do to make that happen, or what does the team do, or what do the coaches do? What combination goes to make that happen?
Well, that's a great question. A lot of it goes down to field position, too. We have to do a better job on defense because we can't be starting back on our end like we were all night, putting 14, 15, we felt like we had some 10, 12, and we were just now getting to their side of the field in those cases. And as a defense coach, more times we can make you snap the ball, you're going to make a mistake in there. You're going to get behind the chains, and now we can bounce on you. Versus us getting off the field and getting the ball at the 50, getting the ball in the red zone, giving them more short yardage fields because the percentages dramatically change in the progression of the field. If you have to start back in your end of the field, it's basically the same percentage of you scoring. So if you're on your 20 going all the way, it's about a 20% chance you're going to score. Versus if you're inside the 40 going in, it's up to 60. And so we got to get ourselves in those better predicaments so we're not all game having to make those. You have to make those a couple games. There's 2 or 3 times a game you're going to have to pull your big boy pants up and go down the field and drive. It just can't be every drive. And when we got the one short field, we scored. Right. Off the turnover. And so, that was like we got to get off the field, and that kind of, to me, goes a little bit more on defense and special teams than it does necessarily the offense. Always, you can't make them go the whole field the whole game.
Now, and defensively, obviously, things really, the halftime adjustments, especially on the passing defense, were phenomenal. A couple of times I pointed out that the guy, there was great secondary coverage. What adjustments did you make from the second quarter when they scored 2 passing touchdowns? When does that – I'm trying to get in the mindset of a coaching staff that's working during the quarter. What do you guys talk about, and when do you kind of make those overall adjustments?
It was a tough one because they got a guy back this last week, number 7, that we hadn't seen a lot on. And we kind of had a couple special defenses going in against them. We call them star. We'll run them different versions each week where we're going to try to take the star receiver away. We're going to double him and force you to go somewhere else. Well, they had between 1 and 12. We felt like we got it. We're going to try to bracket those 2. And then that allowed us to put our linebacker maybe on 81, the tight end, because they left him in all the film. Well, the first time we got in Star, 81 came off the field, and now we're matched up with a linebacker on a receiver, which that's the one we slipped and fell down. That led to the first touchdown. So then we were on the progress of switching out of that. Okay, we got to adjust Star. We can't stay in what we worked. We got to and so we tweaked it to get us back in a better position to double one because we wanted to take him out of the way on certain down and distance we felt like they were going to go to him. The second part of that is realizing we were showing our hand too fast. And they were because they were tempo go, which we felt get lined up, be ready for success, and be secure in our coverage. But then they stopped tempoing, would look back, we stayed, and they knew where to go now. They could make the adjustment. So what we really had to do between the second quarter and halftime is show them, like, we're going to call this, and they stop, look, we got to look and adjust out. Or hold, and then bail out late. And that's where we had him flustered. I mean, he had some open guys that because of the skies, we couldn't get back into, but he didn't know where we were and was going to where he thought the ball should go. And that's how Ruff got the interception on the one. Then Connor got underneath one. Ugo almost had another one in the end zone. We tipped to him. We had him trapped a couple times. And outside of that, we felt if we just got our eyes back in the right position because we fell down on the one touchdown. We had him scrambling. He found him open. I'm looking. I saw Chance fall, and I'm like, oh, no. Please don't find him. Please. Oh, they found him. You know, it was one of those. And then the other touchdown came right before half where Carson got his touchdown. We had him bracketed, and unfortunately one of our safeties just he knew where he was pre-snap, and then he looked for some reason the other way on snap, and by the time he got around, it was too late. And, I mean, he was right there in transition. And we like, man, that's 14 points we should have not on the ball. One of those is ours. We got to adjust those coverages a little faster. So the second half was more about disguise, showing zone, getting out, playing some underneath the other coverages. We showed man, played cover three. We showed quarters, played man, and then man into quarters. And that gave us finally got him scrambling, thinking a little bit. And we had to live with the run game. That was the hardest part. It's sitting like, ugh, they run here. And I don't know. We don't have enough in the box. We just got to be better than them. And most of the night we were. They did catch us a couple times. We knew we were going to give up a few big runs here and there. We just had to breathe and live with that as good as they are at throwing the ball.
All valid points. And I think at the end of the day, I think, like I said, you guys it's not going to define you.
No.
It's midway through the season, first district game. You always like to get started in district on a positive
you'd love
note.
to be 1-0, yeah.
Yeah, it's always good to be 1-0, especially going into, the next week. Gives you a little more confidence. I think the way they played in the second half, the things they were able to do, which you can see on film because, us dumb guys up in the booth, even we saw it, able to move the ball. Yeah. They were able to stop them and hold them to 3 points. I think that's going to help in the confidence as you guys go into next week.
Yeah,
this week.
I'm not worried. Defensively, I think we're right where we still created 2 turnovers in the game, set up for a touchdown, got a big interception. We're leading the district in interceptions right now. I think we're at 8, I believe, now in interceptions. Ugo's tied at the top of the state or our district in interceptions still. So we're in that category. This week's going to be a completely different animal. We'll talk about Pflugerville in a minute. Offensively, I thought the last 2 weeks playing 2 great defenses in A&M Consolidated and that defensive line from Cedar Park, we just got better every snap. And our offense started coming alive in moments against those. Now, like I talked to the team afterwards, it's a sense of time of urgency because you got to pick it up. You didn't get the first win. We're playing a team that we got. If we want to be in that opportunity to be in the playoff conversation, this is a big game. Not because it's homecoming. It's the only game we're going to play this week, so that makes it a big game.
There you go.
And 2, we need to get Pflugerville and we need to go get this win this week to get us back into the conversation and back in the playoff picture.
And when we get to our segment Inside the Huddle, we'll talk about Pflugerville and we'll talk about this week because this is kind of a special week.
Yeah.
That was a little sorry.
Special week.
Special. I don't know if that's the right word, Coach.
Yeah,
maybe it is. Maybe it
special.
isn't. But it is special.
No,
so
homecoming's good.
But we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will have our varsity players of the week that they'll be up here joining us. So we'll come back. You're listening and watching Inside Raider Nation on KMAX Sports.
This is the KMAX Sports Network.
From West Texas all the way to the bayou and all points in between.
I saw miles and miles of Texas.
This is the KMAX Sports Network, bringing your teams to you.
KMAX Sports is the largest online broadcast company in Central Texas. How large is that? Well, think of the state capitol if it was full of sports. I mean, the rotunda is more than large enough for basketball or volleyball, and let's face it, anything we do in there is going to be better than what's going on right now. Plus, those guys only work every 2 years. We bring your teams to you every doggone day. Bringing your teams to you since 2003. We are KMAX Sports.
Hey, have you liked us on Facebook yet?
Whoa, stop right there.
Well, why not? Search KMAXSports.com and like us now.
Notice that's not Taylor Swift, right? You notice that. What's that?
That's not Taylor Swift, right?
That's right. That's right. Can any of you guys know who does that? Name the group. That song. Okay.
Pump up the jam. Pump it up.
Wow, that was one of the biggest songs of the 90s. I guess they're not old enough.
Not old enough.
2 Unlimited was that one.
Yeah.
So, welcome back to Inside Raider Nation, and Chet Licata, the producer. Coach, so we got a email on the broadcast, and we thought this would be a really good time since the broadcasts in specific are about the student athletes.
Absolutely.
And wanted to share this because you and I, and of course Sonny is Mr. Rouse at KMAC, and thought this would be a really good one to share with everybody to show the relationship. So if you bear with me for about 3 minutes, here's the email that Sonny got on the broadcast. Mr. Zabeda, I hope this message gets to you because I want to thank you so much for your KMAC broadcast for the Rouse Raiders. This is not for attention or sympathy because my son has never wanted attention. He just loves this football. It's his passion. Back in January, I became very ill and almost died. And while I'm getting better and making progress, I've not been able to get out to my son's games this year. Your broadcast and announcing have given me the chance to listen and participate in his senior year and listen to the team's wins and losses. It's been a tough 9 months with my illness and also my son's surgery, but you brought me close and made it so my son knows that I'm with him and supporting him. When I came home in a wheelchair, and it was my son's strength, patience, and constant motivation that by my 3-month checkup, the doctors were shocked when I walked in for my appointment. He worked with me consistently. Even with his schedule in school, he would work with me tirelessly. He's an incredible young man. Quit is not in his vocabulary. I promise that no matter what, I would always be there for a senior night. I still can't walk distance, so I'm concerned about how I'm going to do it. But with God, all things are possible, and maybe they can let me skip the walk across the field, but let me stand with him. I know most of all his teammates, and they are all amazing young men, all extremely talented. I'm so proud of my son, but I'm so very proud of each and every Rouse Raider and the awesome coaching staff, Coach Mann and especially Coach Clark for helping me raise an incredible young man. I couldn't have done it without their influence. I can honestly say that during the broadcast on Friday nights, I hang on every word of yours because you are my eyes. I just want to let you know that you've touched our lives incredibly, and every Friday night, I welcome you in like one of the family. Thank you for making such an extraordinary difference in our lives. Again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Altogether, it is the perfect example of teamwork. My name is Michelle Giuliano. I am Alice Bagley's number 66, Mom.
Oh. Hold it together, big guy. That's awesome. I'm just going to drop the mic and walk off. I mean, how do you follow that up, Sonny? I want to hear you.
Yeah, there's a reason that Chuck read it and I didn't. There's a couple of times Alex and I were sweating a little bit. But that truly is one of the reasons that obviously we had that long-term extension that we, it was a multi-million-dollar extension, Nike endorsement, all that stuff, where I would be part of Rouse football. And so as long as Coach Mann is at Rouse High School, I will be at calling Rouse Raider football. And that's one of the reasons why. Hayden Bruce's mom shared a story with me somewhat similar to that a couple of years ago with her parents and being able to listen when Hayden Bruce was playing, and that was so important. So there is a reason for this, but it also highlights these kids and the
Absolutely.
work that these kids have put in. And I've seen some of these kids, over the last 4 or 5 years. I was going to say when Aiden and Alex were small, but I don't think that's ever been the case.
I don't remember them being small.
They were shorter, maybe. I don't know. Maybe Aiden's never been shorter. But that's one of the reasons. Is the reason that we do this, and the reason the Booster Club finds the money and they raise the money and they support Rouse footballists to do KMAX sports for instances like this.
And I guarantee this, there's no doubt that we're going to have that accomplished on the field senior night. No doubt. We got my head's spinning already with ideas how we're going to make that happen. So tell her that that's not an if, that's a going to happen deal, okay?
So we'll try to follow that up, and we're going to highlight the kids even more. Freshman Players of the Week. We'll start with the Freshman B Players of the Week, and that's Christian Lyons. And the Offensive Player of the Week for Freshman B, Andrew Navarro. Ryan Popejoy was the Defensive Freshman B Player of the Week. And then Mason Johnson, the Freshman B Special Forces Player of the Week. Special Forces Player of the Week on the Freshman A was Ben Armstrong. And then Defensive Player of the Week on the Freshman A was Jalen Becerra. Freshman A Offensive Player of the Week was Donnie Matthews. I thought I had the easy ones, Coach. I was just going to blow through here. And Freshman A Player of the Week, Jared Zuniga. I should have just let you do this. The
only reason I know is because they're real good friends with somebody I know real close.
Okay. Junior Varsity Player of the Week was Josh Hagan.
Yep.
Tyler Worley was the Offensive Player of the Week for the JV. And then Austin Welton, the Defensive Player of the Week. And then the Special Forces JV Player of the Week, Cole Ellison.
Absolutely. And then you get up into the big guys that are here with us tonight. Our Scout Team Player of the Week, again, that's such a cool role. And Matthew Rogers here tonight is our Scout Team Player of the Week, does a great job, not only getting better at what he's doing as a defensive back, but then going over there and give the offense the look that he needs and working his craft over there. And there's no doubt one guy I know I don't ever have to question his effort and his intensity in practice is Matthew. He does a tremendous job. Our Varsity Special Forces Player of the Week, as well as our Defensive Player of the Week, is Malachi Jones. We'll get Malachi out here in a little bit. He's busy helping Zaxby's in the back right now. And then our Offensive Player of the Week was Tavion Tate. And, of course, Tavion Tate's our Offensive Player of the Week mainly because of our Varsity Player of the Week, and we couldn't pick one. It was the entire offensive line and their continuous improvement. We were really when I got out of that, I was so excited about their performance and watching them play that night. It was really good. And then Teacher of the Week is Chrissy Flanagan.
And she is theater, correct?
I believe so.
Okay. It's a test for both of us. See if we're right on that one. I think that was correct. All right, so we've got some of the Big Nasties, as they're affectionately called, the Big Nasties, Big Uglies. I got away from Big Uglies as Big Nasties because it is a nasty job sometimes. Somebody's got to do it right. So we'll let you guys introduce yourself and also our Scout Team Player of the Week.
My name's Keegan New.
My name's Alex.
My name is Matthew Rogers.
All right, guys. First question.
Did he introduce himself? Yeah.
Oh, we got to turn it on.
Turn on. I was wondering, I was like, okay, doesn't he want to talk or what?
Hello?
I heard him.
Hello?
There you go.
Hello?
There you go.
There you go.
I'm Aiden Sharp, up for center.
There's to see the unsung heroes. They don't get the recognition, and you got the applause right there, guys. That help?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just trying.
Here, let me twist your arm. Did that help?
Trying to keep them motivated, right? Trying to keep them motivated. Offensive line. We're going to have a big game coming up this week. Homecoming, right? Something we're looking forward to. So tell me, Keegan, your best Rouse football memory.
Doesn't
have to be a game. Can be practice.
I don't know. I'd have to think on that one.
Okay. I bet you Alex has one. Alex Bagley, by the way. He has the last name.
Yes.
Going to playoffs.
Going to the playoffs. Matthew,
Well, I have to say last year, Maynard game, first game of the year, I was at home. And I got off a block. This one play was late in the fourth quarter, and I made this huge hit. Everyone was talking about it, and that's how I got player of the week last year. I got on Stats last year.
Okay. Aiden?
My favorite memory is my first game playing Maynard sophomore year. There's nothing like your first time, so that's what holds dear to my heart.
Okay. Constant applause there. Your fan club must be in check. Yeah? It's you. Yeah, how many in your fan club now?
Chloe.
There were one.
Chloe.
At least you have one. That's more than I have. All right, so tell us, Matthew, I'll go with you. What song describes your work ethic? There was a song describe your work ethic. What would it be? Ooh, that's a tough one.
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to think, but I like this artist named J. Cole. He has a song called "Workout." It's like a more of a quieter song, but it's still it gets the point across.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, we got a good thing. Don't know if I'ma see you again, but is that a good thing? 'Cause girl, I can't be your man. No man, I know what's on your brain.
I asked Coach Mann if he's ever heard that song before, and he's like, nope. I haven't either, Coach. It's okay. All right. Aiden, your work ethic, your song.
Work ethic, I'm gonna say "Lose Yourself" by Eminem. That's I use that for motivation. That's one of the best songs that I think is ever produced, by the meaning and what it can do to you on a Friday night.
Hey, you might have started something, Chuck. Don't get him motivated now, because we're in front of him. Pancake block us. Alex, what about you? What's a song that would describe your work ethic?
I like all music.
Just all music? Okay, everything. So we could play some polka, and that would describe who you are?
What's polka?
Polka music? You have never heard polka music?
It's like German.
Maybe not that.
Here's a song from a couple weeks ago.
Careless Whisper, fire you up? No. Keegan, what about you?
Anything with a good beat.
Okay.
Anything that's got a little bit of bass in it.
A little bit of bass in it. All right. Tell us, Keegan, what is your best piece of advice that you've ever been given? Favorite quote or your best piece of advice?
I think I covered this last time. The Yoda quote. Yeah.
It was Yoda?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
What was it? I can never remember it quite.
See, I gave you a week.
Do not. Yeah.
I was giving you a week to try to remember.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Bags? Best piece of advice you've ever been given?
By the one and only Coach Clark.
Oh.
You got to have a short-term memory.
Got to have a short-term memory. Okay.
Sonny, hang on. Here's the polka. Here's your polka right there.
Do you like all music? You said all music, Bags. No? Okay.
Anything but.
Anything but that. All right. Matthew, you got a microphone. Tell us your favorite athlete.
Well, I like LeBron James.
Okay. Just LeBron?
LeBron James. I have a bunch of favorite athletes, but he's one of my most favorites,
Okay. All right, I can go with that. He should be playing football, don't you agree? Yes. Big enough to play football.
Athlete?
Favorite athlete?
Mine's Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant because of the Mamba mentality. I don't think any player has ever dedicated as much time and effort as he has to any sport ever. So, yeah.
Okay. Stay with Aiden because he's loud on that microphone. 2 people, past or present, that you could have dinner with. Who would it be?
I'm going to say Kobe. I really, honestly, one of my goals is to just shake his hand. That's a lifelong goal, is just to shake his hand.
Okay.
I'm really inspired by him. Other than that, I'd probably have to say, I'll probably go with Mr. Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln and Kobe. Fan club likes it? Okay. Matthew, what about you? 2 people, past or present, you could have dinner with.
Well, it's a hard decision, but I could go like Kendrick Lamar. It seems like a unpredictable type of person, with his music. And it's hard to say, but I guess maybe Drake as well. Maybe
Drake and Kendrick Lamar. That's pretty good. All right. Alex Bagley.
Chris Farley.
Chris Farley. And who else? He just got.
He just got the one.
Rob Gronkowski.
Okay. So there's a second part for Alex because he was hiding. Now we can see your face. Okay. What would you have for dinner? Like, what would you serve them? Like a steak? Italian food? Mexican food?
I have no idea.
No?
Zaxby's.
No idea.
Zaxby's chicken?
Yeah.
We're watching Coach Elrod over there. He might be eating the rest of your chicken. so quick you look. All right, Keegan, what about you? Two people, past or present, you could have dinner with. Who would it be?
I'd probably go with Martin Luther King and Gandhi. Just to get to know him. Yeah.
Telling you. All right, so tell us, who is your role model?
Probably my mom.
Okay.
Role model.
Alex?
My mom for sure.
Yeah. Matthew?
I would say like my whole family. Been there for me. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. The time that is sacrificed.
Yep. Yes, Dad's mom and Dad like that one.
I gotta go with my mom. She's always been there for me whenever I was young until now. She'll always be there.
These are some smart guys. Yes, they thinking their mom is. Yes. Shout out to all the moms out there. All right, so Aiden, talk a little bit about you're thinking to these younger kids, the Ryfa kids, okay, that are watching you on Friday night. They run out of the tunnel in front of you guys. Think about what would you tell them that you think would help them when they get to where you're at, being a senior in high school? What do you think would be something that you could pass along to them that would help them?
Don't blink. Because I remember freshman year having a conversation with one of my friend's mom about how she was saying how fast high school is going to go by, and I only got a few more months left, and then I'm gone. And so take advantage of it. Also, last time your parents will take care of you. So, yeah, that's the best part.
Yeah. Okay.
Make sure to be a good teammate. That's how you get the respect from your teammates.
I like that one. Very good.
Probably get ready to work, because, I mean, if you work, you can get ahead.
Keegan, I like that. All right, Bags,
Took
instill
all the
some
good
wisdom.
ones.
What's that?
They took all the good ones.
Okay. So if a little kid came up to you and said, Alex, tell me how I'm going to be successful when I'm a senior like you, what would you tell him?
Do what you want to do. Be happy.
There you go. I like that. Be happy. Be passionate about what you do. You have a passion for football?
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
Just a little bit. Okay, just a little bit. All right, so tell us your best. Well, Coach Mann said he wouldn't punish you in any way for this. What's one memory or one thing, what's one quirk about Coach Mann you're always going to remember after you leave Rouse football?
His tooth.
His tooth. The infamous tooth. Okay. Okay, Keegan, what about you, Keegan?
Probably his personality. He's got or no, not that. His speeches. When he gets up on a soapbox, he can talk.
He can talk, can he?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Is it long or short? Speech.
Oh, it's always long.
Long?
Always.
So in other words, don't sit there and time it, right? Okay.
Yeah. Same thing as he said, his speeches.
Okay.
How he almost gets ejected on Friday nights. I like the passion. I like how he yells at the refs for making bad calls. I like that a lot.
Wow.
I don't think I've ever seen Coach Mann yell.
What?
I think he raises his voice so that the referee can hear him because, it's a long way out there. Coach Elrod, am I right?
Not with the sideline judge.
It's very loud.
That's like 3 yards.
Well, you never know. With the fans, as much noise as the band is making, Aiden, it's really hard sometimes. Coach, I'm really trying to help you here. I
Hey,
know.
Sonny, I've been in the booth with you 2 games. I could hear them, okay? Seriously. What game are you watching, man?
I was trying to help Coach Mann out a little bit. All right. So, Aiden, shout-outs. Fan club, obviously.
Yeah, shout out Chloe. She's my one fan club. She's probably not watching this week.
She is watching every Monday night. So
every Monday, I'll text her after this. Then shout out my mom, my dad, and my brother at UTSA.
Mr. Gavin Sharp, yes.
Shout out to my parents out in the back over there. Shout out to my brother Eric, played football formerly for us, and shout out to my brother Evan at the University of Illinois Chicago. Hope you're doing okay out there, bro.
Nice.
Shout out to my mom and I guess my girlfriend Jenny. She goes to SFA.
Right. Alex?
Shout out to my mom and I guess the O-line. We'll go with the O-line.
Go with the O-line. Not Coach Clark. Coach Clark didn't get a shout out? Okay.
Speedy recovery to Grady and Simpson. Grady suffered a foot injury and Simpson got a concussion last night, so shout out them too.
Okay. Just weird one. Well, this has been the Varsity Players of the Week. Our offensive line, that's Alex Bagley, Keegan New, Aiden Sharp, and then our Scout Team Player of the Week, Mr. Matthew Rogers. We appreciate you guys joining us. We're going to take a quick break. Come back with more Inside Raider Nation here on KMAX Sports.
KMAX Sports Network.
From West Texas all the way to the Bayou. And all points in between.
I saw miles and miles of Texas.
This is the KMAX Sports Network, bringing your teams to you.
KMAX Sports is the largest online broadcast company in Central Texas. How large is that? Well, think of the state capitol if it was full of sports. I mean, the rotunda is more than large enough for basketball or volleyball, and let's face it, anything we do in there is going to be better than what's going on right now. Plus, those guys only work every 2 years. We bring your teams to you every doggone day. Bringing your teams to you since 2003. We are KMAX Sports.
Hey, have you liked us on Facebook yet?
Whoa, stop right there.
Well, why not? Search KMAXSports.com and like us now.
Learn to dance, call your mom, buy a boat, drink a beer, sing a song, make a friend. Can't we all get along?
Welcome back to Inside Raider Nation here live from Zaxby's. Sonny Zappel along with Coach Mann, and joining us now, Coach Elrod. He's got some news to tell us because the month of September was touchdowns against cancer, help defeat childhood cancer.
We just wrapped up our touchdowns against cancer campaign. In our part, we scored 10 touchdowns in the month of September, which helped contribute to the overall total raised by touchdowns for cancer to help St. Jude's, which is $121,503, all going to a great cause. We helped contribute to that. So just a little small part of what we were able to do to give back to a worthy group. So.
All right, $121,503 raised for childhood, to defeat childhood cancer, and Rouse doing their part in that. So, very worthy cause. And Coach Elrod always leading the charge on those things.
Absolutely.
So, great job, Coach Elrod. I think you have maybe a belated shout-out you want to give?
Yeah, it was the ball girls Riley. It was her 10th birthday yesterday. Funny story about Riley. When I was coaching in Dalhart, she was actually born on the bye week. She had great timing. She was a football baby from the time she was born. We were in our bye week. She was born, and I was back to work that following Monday and ready to go again. Her very first football game was a playoff game against us in Sweetwater in Plainview, Texas. One of the coldest games I've ever coached in my entire life. But she was bundled up, ready to go, and she's been watching football ever since. So.
And she was watching football yesterday. By the way, Coach, I want to let you know, because she was at that Cowboys game and they won, she has to be at the rest from here on out.
That she, on the way out, said that we have to get season tickets because she is the good luck charm.
I believe it. I believe
She
it. I
truly.
I'm going to tell her you need to do it.
Yes.
You're a bad parent if you don't do that. Don't be that
Season
dad.
tickets.
I know a guy that's got season tickets, so we'll
Hook me up with Jerry. I need one of
we'll
those
hook you up.
suites.
Yeah. We'll call Jerry Jones straight away and say we need a suite for Riley.
Yep.
There you go.
She-
I mean,
she'll
if
get you to the
he
Super Bowl.
wins every
Yeah.
game,
She'll get you
it'd
to
be
the
worth
Super
his
Bowl.
investment.
The funny thing is they do a. Well, I didn't know they did this, but they did a Albertsons, the grocery store chain up there. They do they have a Albertsons kickoff tea girl of the game.
Oh, I thought
so
about
every time
that.
they kick off, the little girl runs out there, picks up the tea, and Riley looks at me the first time they did and goes, "Why am I not doing that?"
Come on, how much? It's
God,
my
Dad,
birthday,
what'd
Dad.
you do?
So I was like, "Well, maybe next time."
Nah, that was awesome.
She had a blast.
Yeah. I saw the video. She was excited.
Oh,
She was
Zeke Elliott
excited.
went off, and she was wearing his jersey. And the best part is we were sitting by some Detroit Lions fans.
Yes.
And so they made it interesting. It was fun, and it was good natured humor going back and forth, and it made it for a lot of laughs in the stands.
That's good because it's not always that way when you go to
No,
No,
not
you
always.
gotta
those
be
games.
careful
Believe me.
some of the
Yeah.
NFL
This is fun stuff.
I'm sure she could dish it out too. She's a pretty tough girl. I'm sure she'd
Oh,
give
yeah.
some of that
Oh,
back
yeah.
too. So that's good. So happy belated birthday to our Dallas Cowboy good luck charm.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Riley Elrod,
Best ball girl in the state.
best
Amen.
ball girl in the state. So the question is, what's she going to do when she gets to middle school and high school?
She'd probably still be the ball girl.
Yeah, I'm thinking she's probably going to try to play when she's in high school.
Let's do it.
Mama said no.
There's your final
She got
answer.
to play quarterback. She played flag football last year as a quarterback, and really enjoyed it. Got some video of her throwing some touchdowns and that kind of stuff. But
Maybe she'll be a soccer star at
She
Rouse
will.
High School.
funny thing about soccer is we were at one of her very first practices, and she steals the ball, and she's trying to pass it to one of her teammates. She steps on the ball, falls on her back. I didn't know at the time she ended up fracturing her ankle. And of course, of all the dad wisdom, she's crying. She limps over. I grab it, say, "You're fine." Give it a little shake. Tell her to get back out there. So, dad moment of the year right there. But she ended up fracturing her ankle, so she's missing soccer season. Her first soccer season, she's in a walking boot. So,
Golly.
so
Good parenting stories. I'm sure that we all have.
classic parenting story.
Yeah, classic. I think Jacob was in middle school, came home, and I'm feeling good. Like whatever. And of course, my wife, being as competitive as she is, rub some dirt on it, you'll be okay. Come to find out, he had mono.
Oh.
We didn't know till we got to the end of it, and we're like, okay, well, I guess he was sick.
Yeah.
So there you go.
This is kind of going back a lot of years. We were at Coach Mann's house one night eating dinner or something like that, and Emma and the boys were in their playroom playing. She comes in holding her arm, and I thought, "Oh, you're just being a girl. Go toughen up." Ends up, she had broken her elbow.
Put that girl in bubble wrap.
So we second classic dad moment, go put some dirt on him and get better. So
It's always what we do, right? I mean, that's just mentality, and they
that's
do it
what we do.
sometimes.
Yep.
All right, so we're going to have a little bit of trivia before we get to our weekly picks. So we're going to have trivia with Keegan, because he's still here. Come on up, Keegan. Matthew, if we can bother you for a minute. We're going to pit the players against the coaches.
Ooh. Y'all are done for.
Going down.
I'm going to phone a friend and ask Jace.
All right, I'm going to guess this is going to be easy for the coaches. You guys have to know mascots,
Maybe.
right?
Jace, you can come help the players. Come on up here. Only reason why is because you're wearing that wonderful shirt. If you're wearing another shirt besides that one, we may not let you come up.
Fire away.
All right, are you ready? Players, Keegan, you're going to pick a letter, and then we're going to give the coaches that mascot that starts with that letter. We'll give them the university. They have to tell us the mascot.
All right, Z.
Z.
Wow.
Wow, you went for the home run right off of the bat.
No kidding, right?
Let's see. Oh, this one's easy. University of Akron.
Zips.
Zips. Yep. That's it. All right. Coach Man's looking off my computer. All right. Coaches, for the players.
For the players, I'm going to go S.
S.
There's some good S's in there.
There is some good ones.
Smart.
All right. University of Florida State.
Seminoles.
Florida State. Come on.
Right on time.
Come on.
All right.
Seriously,
Letter,
man.
Jason.
Come on.
W.
W. I wonder if you were going to pull that one out. All right. Let's go with. Oh, that one's easy. University of Louisiana Monroe. Here's the hint. It starts with a W.
Yeah. Warhawks.
Warhawks. Are you sure? Oh, well, that's a good guess. It's a Warhawks.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
All right. Who's keeping score?
We are 2. They got 1.
Okay.
What letter you want?
There's 2-2.
Q.
Q. Is there any Q's?
Yep.
Are you sure?
I think so.
Oh, P, Q.
I think
Q
there's
is
a
in the alphabet, but
I think
don't
there's a
it's-
breakfast named after him.
No, I don't see it on my list. This is
All right.
FBS.
All right, maybe
Another
not
letter.
FBS. T.
No Q's.
How about the University of Clemson?
Oh, jeez.
Tigers.
Good God.
Okay.
Okay. Just real quick. This is Sonny for being so stupid and easy. God, man. Come on. Come on, Sonny.
You never know.
2-2.
2-2. All right, letter.
X.
Oh.
X. They're really going after you. There's no X.
No X. No
Y.
X. Y. Not.
Yes. There is a Y. University of Georgia Tech.
Yellow Jackets.
Yellow Jackets. All right. Letter.
N.
N?
N.
As in Nancy?
Nancy.
All right. We're going to go with the hard one again.
Oh,
Penn State.
Nittany Lions.
Nittany Lions. Telling you, see? All right.
It's on TV right now. I mean, seriously. I
We
mean,
didn't think they were that observant. All right. So it's still tied, correct?
still tied.
3-3?
3-3.
All right. So this is the tiebreaker. All right. I'll give you the mascot. You tell me university. Who wants to go first? Players or the coaches?
I can go first.
All right. Players want to go first.
Like it.
All right.
I thought it was age before beauty.
I did too, but
It's all right. Let him have it. Let the young one, let the young buck take it.
so the Thundering Herd.
Marshall.
Okay. There it is, coaches.
This is the
Game on the line.
All right.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Well, I can't do that when there's more than one. All right. The Blue Raiders. Now, this is an FBS school, by the way. Blue Raiders.
Tennessee State.
Close, but no cigar. Middle Tennessee. Got him. Tripped him up just ever so slightly.
Good job, Matthew.
Yes.
I'm going to shake Matthew's hand since he got them all.
There for moral support.
Yeah.
Rig. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back with our results of last week's picks. And then we're going to come back with Inside the Huddle, talk about our next opponent. And then we will have Coach Elrod in the pool now for the weekly picks that we're going to have for upcoming games. So you can join us, and if you
This is the K-Max Sports Network.
From West Texas all the way to the Bayou and all points in between.
I saw miles and miles of Texas.
This is the K-Max Sports Network, bringing your teams to you.
We hope you're enjoying tonight's broadcast. And while all of us at the KMAX Sports Network are huge football fans, we broadcast more than just football, you know. In fact, KMAX Sports proudly broadcasts volleyball, girls and boys basketball, softball, baseball, soccer, lacrosse, and more. For more information on how you can help KMAX Sports broadcast any of those sports, just reach out to chuck@kmaxsports.com or merle@kmaxsports.com or contact that sports booster club directly. KMAX Sports will gladly work with you and the booster clubs to get that team's broadcasts on the air. And if you're a fan of the other team, well, we can broadcast your team's games too. We realize that, yes, even in Texas, there's more to life than just football. KMAX Sports, bringing your teams to you for 14 years. Purchase a copy of this or any KMAC broadcast for personal use, and portions of the proceeds go to your school. Whether you're making a highlight video or just want to be able to enjoy this game years in the future, send us a note to info@kmaxsports.com. That's info@kmaxsports.com. We can even do some editing for you for a small fee. Purchase any broadcast for personal use. Hit us up. info@kmaxsports.com, bringing your teams and your highlights to you. We are KMAX Sports. KMAX Sports is the largest online broadcast company in Central Texas. How large is that? Well, think of the state capitol if it was full of sports. I mean, the rotunda is more than large enough for basketball or volleyball, and let's face it, anything we do in there is going to be better than what's going on right now. Plus, those guys only work every 2 years. We bring your teams to you every doggone day. Bringing your teams to you since 2003. We are KMAX Sports.
Live from Zaxby's, and the wonderful music from our producer, KMAC Sports President, Mr. Chuck Licata.
You mean insulting there or what?
No.
Hello. All right. Good.
Yes.
We okay?
We're good. We're good. All right. So we're going to go to inside the huddle. We're going to talk about next opponent, which is Pflugerville, and this is your favorite time of the year, homecoming.
Yay.
We're right in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
Homecoming. We get to go to a homecoming parade. Well, I say we. You guys get to go to homecoming parade on Wednesday. All the festivities around homecoming, and it's a home game against Pflugerville.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Pflugerville and kind of on the from a defensive standpoint. What are you going to see offensively from them, or you expect to see from them?
Well, Pflugerville again was a 6A school last year. That with the way the new divisions realigned, they came down, and they have a new head coach this year, Charles Taylor, who took the McCallum Knights last year on that magical run to the semifinals, and you can see him putting his blueprint and his fingerprint all over the program right now. They're kind of getting back to a very blue collar route. They're playing very physical on both sides of the ball, and that's kind of Coach Taylor's MO has kind of always been, following him and being able to serve on the board with him on Central Texas Coaches Association. And great man, doing a tremendous job of you can see the strides. Their record may not indicate it, but they're there, and they're doing some really good things. I think, offensively for us going against them, defensively, they're athletic and a lot of positions. They got a very good-looking young defensive lineman that's going to be one of the top, I think, recruited kids in the area in a couple of years for sure, if not already. They got great size at linebacker, and their corners play really well. They're still learning their identity on defense. They're still struggling a little bit with assignment football at times because it's new. You can see there's just new coaches and new things in place. But when they're on key and on point, it's good stuff. But people have gotten yards on them. People have been able to score on them. They've kind of been with us where they've been in games and won, and then they've given up a lot of points in some games. But to really quality opponents as well. Offensively, defensively, us going against their offense, it's a stark contrast to last week where Cedar Park wants to throw the ball, and then when they want to throw the ball again, and then, okay, fine, I might run it a couple of times. They're the exact opposite. They've thrown the ball 34 attempts in 5 games. They've only completed about 7 of those attempts. They have gone to more of a wildcat-based offense. They have a freshman starting at what you would call the quarterback position, but the wildcat quarterback. Wow. Yeah, he don't look like a freshman. He is a grown man and can get it. Very impressive. And it's not that he's elite fast. You can see that in his speed. That dude wants to get north and south and put his shoulders down. And he has taken some of the hardest hits I've seen this year. And I'm like, oh, well, heck, he ain't getting up from that one. And dust it off next play. He'll go find that dude and run him over. You're like, ooh.
Oh, goodness.
And then the other running back to match with it, you'll see a lot on the field, 32. He's number 22. 32 is his running mate back there. Gosh, he looks like the traditional Pflugerville type running back. Whether you look at the history of Pflugerville ISD, and I mean, you can go back to the days when it was just Pflugerville, and they had strings and strings of running backs going through there. Since I was at Cedar Park, I just went blank on one of the kids' name, but a D1 commit to Texas. And then, you get into Hendrickson, who's had Kenny Williams and Samaje Perine, Deja Johnson. I mean, Conley's had a run through of a couple running backs. Weiss has got a great one coming up. I mean, they just have those type of kids in that area that are just tremendous athletes, hard-nosed, big, physical, 6 foot, 6'1", 220, 210, downhill runners that try to punish you. The good thing is that they are limited a little bit. They are very heavy one-sided. I mean, they're going to run the ball and do a lot of misdirection with their running game. So we got to be able to hold up in the box, be prepared, do and understand when they do throw the ball, be in the right positions. You can't just turn them free because they do have a D1 commit wide receiver right now that's committed to Illinois. So he can get vertical, and if you don't get pressure and you give him enough time to hold on, he can throw it. But you give him pressure, he struggled a little bit. So it's going to be a tremendous matchup. I mean, they're coming off a 2-game skid. We're coming off a 2-game skid. Both of us know the winner of this gets right back in the mix going into the stretch, and the loser's got an uphill battle. They can still manage it, but you're behind the ball now with the short district.
Yeah, they've played Bowie first week 1, lost 45-13, then took on Leander, were able to defeat them 37-20, and then defeated Elgin 40-17. Took on Waco La Vega, and that was a 61-14 loss. And then last week they played against Manor.
Yeah.
So Manor, able to defeat them 38-7. So you look at those, and there's some quality opponents that they've played there. Tell us maybe one key, because you're the defensive guy. I always think of you as a defensive guy, even though you're in charge of both. Tell us one key for the defense that will help Rouse be successful.
Know your assignment, on run, support, where your leverage is. I mean, because they're gonna be running the ball. You got to know where your help is. On certain formations, there's definitely tendencies and tips, and if you don't know if you don't spill it to this guy, we're going to be in trouble. So you cannot have mental lapse and think, oh, maybe this time I'll stay outside, or maybe I won't spill this block, or okay, it's one back, I won't do my job. If you don't stay keyed in and on your task, and you give them a vertical crease at all, we have to make the ball go east and west. If they get their shoulders turned, he may run over everybody and score.
Coach Elrod, I'm going to put you on the spot. One key on the offensive side for Rouse to be successful and win the game.
We just got to continue to make our strides. Each week, our elements of our game plan are going in. We just got to continue to clean up, continue to build trust, and continue to do things, get more balanced, and that's coming. That's something we've really been working on and stressing, and just continue to find our wrinkles that's going to make us successful. So.
Okay, can you let Coach Cowling know that I've put the secret plays up on the glass? He never looks over at me.
He just every time we go, he looks forward to the high five through the glass.
That's about all I get.
He loves the high five through the glass.
Yes, he did give Chuck high five as well, because that was a great call on that. But I had told him to play earlier, and he just didn't acknowledge me. Maybe it just takes a while to soak in. He's waiting for the perfect time.
Yeah,
that's maybe
right suggestion, find the right time.
I'm going to believe that was the case, but probably not. So, Coach, special teams. What's the key for special teams this week? Because that is the third phase of the game that sometimes people kind of overlook because you're just thinking offense, defense. Special teams, what's going to be the key for them this week?
Well, I mean, it's not the obvious execution, but we really red zone points are going to be huge. And to me, it comes down to PATs and field goals. We can't have a lapse. You can't go score and not get the extra point. And then if we are in that area to strike, and because they're good, and stalls won't always end in points, and so we got to be able to kick field goals. I heard one deal one time: make sure that every offensive play ends in a kick. So don't turn the ball over, punt the ball, make them execute, or kick field goals, kick points. So we're hopefully to do that.
Yeah, and I like your fourth down quarterback, which is your quarterback.
Yeah.
He's been doing well on
He's
on the punts.
punting guy, unbelievable. And like again, I wish y'all come watch Thursday's practice.
It
You'd
doesn't look
think
as
we
good
were
as it-
insane putting him back
Putting
there
him
to
back
punt. It is everywhere, the wrong direction.
That's a good player.
Barely gets out, and then pregame you watch him, and he is like boom, boom. I'm like, dude, save that, dude. Just calm down.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's hard to do. I mean, to be all the things that he juggles and then to go punt that ball.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed with him on that.
And Driscoll's been doing a very good job.
Very good
as
job
as a
snapping.
deep snapper.
Very
That's
good job.
also key. And Henson has been doing a good job holding as well. And Braden, he's the first play on defense because the kickoff sets the tone for the defense, and he's been doing a good job. Only one out of bounds so far this year, but most of them have been to that left corner and deep, and he's putting them where they need to go. So he's doing a great job as well. So hopefully all those things come into play. Hopefully, talk a little bit, just briefly, distraction or just kind of something we have to get through this week. I know the players, when you talk to them, they're like, yeah, it's homecoming. It doesn't really, I don't think, affects them. I think it's more student body and gets everybody involved.
Yeah, most of those, we talked about it on Saturday. We gave the traditional homecoming speech Saturday. Look, it's an important week. A lot of people will be back. Alumni will be back. You're going to be at home. But outside of that, no other pressure should be on you. I mean, the game's pressure enough, so don't put anything on you. Understand that the events that are out there, most of those are for everybody else. They're not for us. And even if you're a part of the court or something else, you're not part of it until after the game.
Right.
I mean, we have practice. They're gonna stay. I don't know how it always happens, but they schedule all the practices for homecoming court and all that while we're practicing. And so, no, do not ask. You will be at practice. We have a job to do. We have a game. You have teammates you're committed to. Stay focused to that. But you have those small opportunities to go enjoy. You know, tease them. I hope you did your homecoming proposal and got a date out of it. And good luck on that. You know, go get them, guys. We didn't have homecoming proposals. I'm a little new to that. The other thing is, Wednesday night at the parade, you get to sit on that trailer. You get to go around. You get to throw candy out to the community. We get to go on the turf. We're going to have it in a bigger kind of pep rally atmosphere on the turf this year and celebrate Rouse being open 10 years with the Rouses there and acknowledge that and dance. The Royals are going to dance, cheers before bands perform. We're going to have fireworks at the end of it. And so, that's a special night. Sit there and take it in and be a student at that point. Take your time that night and enjoy it. Please don't be so over tight that you miss that opportunity. Take care of the game, win the game, and that dance is a whole lot funner Saturday after a win than it is a tough loss.
It is. And you talked about homecoming, a lot of alumni coming back last year. A lot of them there on the sideline cheering on their teammates. In fact, we've got more alumni coming back this weekend, and one of them who, by far, the best Coach Man impression I've ever heard, the hype man, Brandon West, is going to be joining us. And not only is he going to be at the game, he's going to be in the booth providing guest color since
Bless your heart.
I'm going to have to put a leash on him to make sure he doesn't have any caffeine before.
That dude gets hype. He is crazy, but no.
He's excited.
Oh, Brandon. Brandon may be one of my favorite kids I've ever coached. He's just an amazing person, and he gives the best hugs. He really does, and it's so impactful and great. I can see a picture of Brandon anywhere, and he DM'd me today on Twitter like, Coach, you won't believe what's happening, and I'm like, oh no, what's going on? And he's so fired up, and it just warms my heart knowing that he'll be there.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. He'll be in the booth and down on the field, and I'm sure just going everywhere because that's a long trek for us old fat guys. I'm telling you.
That's
Plus the elevator or Bible is.
That's why I stay on the field. That's too far.
The elevator or Bible has got to be the slowest in the history of elevators. It just takes forever. That's what I'm blaming it on. But anyway, so homecoming week, Pflugerville Friday, and homecoming parade, the whole festivities on Wednesday. So it's a fun-filled week, theme days every day, and at the end of the week, we get to go and take on Pflugerville Panthers and get back into the district race.
Absolutely.
Get to see Coach Clark dance at the pep rally.
Coach Clark is going to dance at the pep rally.
Oh, man.
Faculty dance, Coach Clark.
I'm sure that will be on Twitter. So
wow.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, you couldn't know.
Is that going to be Facebook Live, Twitter Live? What are we
Twitter
talking
Live.
about?
There you go.
It'll happen.
It'll happen.
Really?
The world will see this.
The world is going to see this. Well, we're going to just bleed right into there you go, the next segment. Which last week we had our picks, and we had lots of picks to go through.
Oh, man.
Coach Elrod, I don't know if you missed that. We had, let's see, how many games? We had
28?
15 college games,
Yep.
and then all of the NFL games. Between me and Chuck and Coach Mann and voice of the Timberwolves, Brad Cohn. One guess of who won out of those four.
Well, I'm gonna say Chuck.
Oh no.
No.
Polar,
Chuck some love.
polar
Thank
opposite.
you, Coach, but no.
Polar opposite. He finished fourth place. All because he picked Stanford and he picked Pittsburgh. That did him in right there.
No, Stanford, Pittsburgh, and Penn State.
And Penn State.
Ooh.
Wait, yeah.
Did you go with me on the Patriots, or did you go against the Pats, too?
Oh, I think everybody went against the Pats.
No, not
No,
everybody.
not everybody.
I think I did.
Fella.
I think I was.
Come on.
I think I was the only one.
Yeah.
Where are they? Right there. It was
Thanks,
Chuck
Coach,
and I.
by the way.
Chuck and
I thought Miami playing well that they would pull it out, and it did not happen. That didn't happen.
Fella.
So in the NFL, it was 9-5. Coach Mann and myself 9-5, and Chuck finished 8-6. Brad Cohn was 11-3 in the NFL picks.
That's where he got me.
That's where he got him. Coach Mann
College,
finished
though.
the college 12-3 out of 15 games, and Chuck finished 8-7, one game above 500, so not too bad. Brad Cohn was 11-4, and I was 10-5, so I was right in the mix. At least I wasn't last, which is kind of what I'm used to being as far as Zapata being in the alphabet. So we're going to shorten it up this week, so there's not as many games, so room for error is not good here. We're going to go with some of these important, and I think it's an important game, just one for Clemson to stay in the race. So Clemson 4-1 at Wake Forest, who's 3-2. They're at Wake Forest. We'll let Coach Mann go.
Clemson's going to keep rolling. They took the little hit with the quarterback, but that's why they had depth, and I like his faith in his team. I'm going to stay with Clemson.
Okay. Coach Elrod?
I'm a big Dabo Swinney fan, so I'm going to go with Clemson.
Chuck?
Yeah, it's hard to pick against Clemson until they show you that they've given you a reason not to. So.
Yeah, I thought about picking Wake Forest in the upset, but I'm going to save that for a little bit later in an upset. All right, so the next one, number 5 LSU at number 22 Florida. Who's
the largest outdoor party?
I
think they call it something else. Cocktail party?
Yep. Are we picking LSU or
I
Florida?
think we have to go reverse order now.
We'll go who is in last place?
You.
Oh, I get to go.
Yeah.
No,
I'm
you
gonna
pick last.
I'm going to take LSU. And it's going to be by a field goal. Field goal kicker's going to come through.
LSU by field goal.
My favorite college football team is LSU, so it's a given right there.
All right.
Coach?
I'm going to go Florida.
There you go.
Florida in the upset. All right. Coach Mann.
I'm gonna stay LSU. Let Coach Elrod down on that one on his own.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Chuck?
Yes.
We're going to go with you?
Sure.
Notre Dame at Virginia Tech.
Notre Dame.
Are you really?
Fight nice.
Okay. Coach Elrod?
Notre Dame.
They did play well the other night, Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. I think that's across the board, Notre Dame. All right. Coach Elrod. Number 7. Out of their 7, I don't know. But anyway, number 7
Because they went
against
overtime
number
against
19.
Army.
Number 7 against number 19, Texas. OU and Texas. Let's see.
Who's number 7?
OU, Oklahoma.
Oh.
Boomer Sooner.
I gotta go Texas.
There you go.
Gosh. Okay,
Yeah,
that's okay.
Nothing's good in Oklahoma, so.
Oh, gosh.
Coach Mann, don't pick Texas.
Don't pick Texas.
I said you're going to pick Texas.
I mean, it's just hard to. I mean, it's 7:40. What is it? 7:14, and OU still sucks. So I'm gonna go with Texas.
Texas pride.
Nice.
Chuck?
Oh, simple, Oklahoma.
Oh,
Very simple.
There's the dividing game.
There's it is. All right. Kentucky at Texas A&M. Kentucky is 13. Texas A&M 3-2.
Beat the hell out of Kentucky.
I like. Wow. I'm gonna say Kentucky.
You're gonna say Kentucky?
That's my.
Okay.
I'm taking the upsets.
That's at A&M, right?
Now, Coach Elrod, you know if you lose, you have to come next week, and I will let you know that if you've won or lost. Okay.
Shocker, huh? That's a news flash.
I'll let you know. If I lose, if I'm in fourth, I'm not letting anybody know. You just have to come and show up, right? Chuck, who you got?
At Kyle Field, right?
At Texas A&M.
Okay. Give me A&M.
I'm going with the Aggies and that tight end, Sternberger.
Mm-hmm.
Good-looking kid.
Great name.
Yeah.
Sternberger.
I went to school with his dad, by the way. That kid was a stud in high school. Here's a good one. Number 25, and this is for Chloe Hatfield up in Stillwater, Oklahoma, who listens every Monday night. We're going to actually go number 25, Oklahoma's second university, Oklahoma State, against Iowa State.
Oklahoma State.
Okay. She's probably going to text me because I said that.
This one's for Chloe, Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State. Chuck?
It's at Iowa State.
That's the scary part.
Let's take the home team.
There you go. That's a good pick. I like that
I like
pick.
Iowa State, but
All right, here's
What do you
upset.
pick? What do you
I
pick?
take Oklahoma State.
Okay. All right. Just making sure.
Yeah.
For the record.
For the record, yes. All right, number 8, Auburn at Mississippi State.
The old cowbells. I'm gonna stay with Auburn. Mississippi State's been too inconsistent this year.
Okay.
Yep, Auburn.
Auburn. Chuck, who do you have?
Same.
Auburn. I'm taking Mississippi State.
Oh,
okay.
Look at you,
Auburn is going to struggle.
Gus. You going to get some Malzahn?
Yeah, go and get some Malzahn. All right, now we're going to go with the NFL. The wonderful Indianapolis Colts, who are at 1-3, at New England, who is 2-2. Same record as the Dallas Cowboys.
And I think that if we go back to the history, New England, when they are 2-2 to start the year, they put a banner up and win the championship. So I'm going to stay with my Pats. Go Pats, go.
All right, Chuck, who do you got?
The GOAT.
Considering how bad they blew that game against Houston, yeah, New England.
Coach Elrod?
Go Pats.
Pats.
Do it.
I think everybody's picking the Pats. I'm going to actually pick New England.
There you go.
Falcons at the Steelers.
Oh, God.
A 1-3.
Somebody has to win this, right?
Somebody's going to win it. Yeah. I think I made it odd, so somebody has to win.
You really don't.
Chuck,
have to
I
ask
don't
me.
even need to ask you.
At Steelers.
At the Steelers.
God, Falcons have not been playing well. Steelers are a hot mess.
Yeah.
Falcons.
Oh.
Yeah.
ATL. All right, Coach
I
Elrod.
think Steelers are.
Yeah, Falcons.
I'm going to go with the Falcons.
Steelers are just so.
Even though they're playing at Pittsburgh.
Obviously, didn't mean anything last night. So
Yeah, they just.
How about the Raiders at 1-3?
The Raiders.
Chucky got his first win against the Chargers. That's always that rivalry game.
I like the Chargers. Bosa on that defense. They're going to be too much for Oakland.
I'll go with Chucky and
Chucky
the Raiders.
Ooh,
Okay.
there's your Raiders pick.
There you go.
Chucky beats Cleveland at home. Chucky's going to beat San Diego at home.
I think Chucky's figured it out, and I'm going with Oakland as well.
Oh, wow. I like it. I'm on my own.
Yeah.
That's a
The Vikings at 1-2-1
Brutal.
versus the Eagles.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's ugly. Ugh, Sonny, you pick first.
I am going to pick.
You pick first.
That's at Philly?
At Philly.
I'm going to have to go with the Eagles.
By the way, rematch of the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
Yep. Same place, too. Same location. Lincoln Field.
Because the Philly fans will just welcome them with open arms.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. They're
That's
city
all
of
I'm
brotherly love.
Think it's
That's
not
all I'm
snowing?
afraid.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the Super Bowl hangover is a real deal, and they're not handling it great. They're not playing honestly really well. And with 10, I mean, I know the Titans are 3-1, but they gave that away. 2 fourth down plays in overtime. I think they're reeling a little bit. I'm going to go with the Vikings.
Okay. Coach Elrod?
2 great offenses at times.
At times, yeah.
At times. As a Cowboys fan, I have to go Vikings.
Wow.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the Vikings weak secondary was exposed last week against the Rams. So I've got to go Philly. I think with Wentz back, Kelsey, or who's their tight end? Ertz playing up to par. He's got Jordan Matthews now, who he knows. I think it's going to be Eagles.
Okay. Hottest team in the NFL right now, the Rams taking on the Seattle Seahawks. And I was going to do my Earl Thomas impersonation, but Chuck told me I couldn't.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You want to tell everybody they're number one?
Yes.
That's it.
That's Rams.
To his own bench, even.
To his own team.
Yeah, that's
Rams.
Rams.
That's Rams.
Was that a Rams?
Rams.
Yeah,
Rams all the way. All right, here you go. The battle of not only we have OU Texas, we have Dallas versus Houston Houston. And I'm going with my man Jace. He says Dallas. I'm going to pick first, Dallas.
God, but they win back to back.
I don't know. They'll find a way to mess it up.
Me and Riley are definitely going Dallas.
Dallas.
I believe.
Where are they at Texans?
At Houston.
I believe that Houston, as crappy as they've looked, finally has. I mean, you look at Deshaun Watson; his numbers are there. Hopkins this past week, Fuller the week before. They for some reason don't have a running game. I still haven't figured that one out, but got to go with the Texans.
Wow. Okay. All right, Coach Man, your last one.
I'm gonna go opposite just because the Texans don't have a running game right now, and I think that's what's keeping them from being the balanced explosion team. And I always go with the team that likes to run the ball, and I think they did find some things out, and they're kind of getting back to a little more pound and get Zeke out of the backfield. I don't know if they can sustain that throughout the rest of the season, but back to back they can. Go with the boys. And I'm not a Cowboy fan. I'm not at all.
No, not at all. At all. We'll make that perfectly clear. But I think
I'm
J.J. Watt is.
I'd rather
be a handful.
I'd rather pick Watt and Clowney, but I don't know. They're just not consistent right now.
Yeah,
they're not consistent.
Even with J.J. Watt,
you can run the ball, you can be consistent, and they're not consistent there. So.
Love it. Well, we have our picks, and so Coach Elrod will let you know next Monday. I'm sure you'll be here for moral support again. I think he just likes the microphone and the camera time.
He likes the ambiance. Of
Zaxby's. He likes the Zaxby's, which we all like Zaxby's.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So, all right, Coach Man, shout-outs?
Yeah, I mean, to all of our alumni coming back, be careful, get back. We can't wait to see everybody. I mean, there's so many Raiders out there doing great things. I mean, all of our alumni it's just so neat watching that process over the years. But I want to give a special one to Marquis Simmons and Chris Holt up at University of Texas, Permian Bases. You know, that's a new program getting off the ground. Coach Kerrigan there has done a great job. And Marquis had one of the game-winning touchdown, and Chris Holt was just named Lone Star Conference Player of the Week. Had 16 tackles in that game. And I just – Chris is a walk-on there. He didn't get a scholarship anywhere, and so, of course, I have a little special place in my heart for walk-ons being one. And so just special shout-out to him. Shout-out to my family back in Amarillo and in Oklahoma, my mom and dad. We're praying, and we love them, and we know things are tough, but just God has a plan, and we're all being tested in our faith, and we're just praying real hard for everybody up there right now. So.
That's what you say every time, right? Faith
Amen.
over fear,
Amen.
right? Amen. All right, so I want to give a shout-out to Chloe Hatfield, who texts me and says she listens every Monday. Like, you surely have better things to do. And she's like, no, not really. She actually makes her friends sit and watch the show with her.
There you
so we
go.
want to say hello to Chloe.
That's not how you keep your friends.
Yeah, Chloe Hatfield. So we'll give a shout-out all the way up to Stillwater, Oklahoma. And then we'll go a little farther south to Commerce, Texas, and Jacob Zapeta. He said he would listen to the end so that we could say his name. And so he now gets to see Coach Mann and Coach Elrod. His day has been made, I'm sure. So they'll be coming back this weekend, along with your favorite fourth down quarterback, Riley Helbert.
Yeah, I love Riley.
Maybe make sure to tell him not to talk to Ethan on those fake punts or anything like that.
Please.
I
got one more. Will Noble came to our game last night, having an alumni back. Yeah, he couldn't make it to homecoming, but I walked out of the lot and talked to Captain Morgan, and there's big Will Noble, and I was like, Bubba, I can get you in some pads real quick. I I'd feel real good right now. He looks so good. And I also want to give to our Raider football moms. Man, they were up there all day Sunday working on signs for the floats. And, you say the homecoming, it is a big deal to a lot of people too. And those Raider moms and getting those floats ready. And, they are painting up a storm in there and getting all the turf laid out. And, they are going the mile. And just thank you to Janelle Moore, Kaminsky, and their group. I can't name all of them, but they're special people. Thank you so much to them.
Those Rouse Mamas, and also the Rouse Raider Football Booster Club for all that they do, especially during homecoming, and to Zaxby's, who's providing the fireworks this year. So that'll be fun to go and watch the homecoming parade, capped off by the fireworks. And anytime Mr. Rouse is anywhere at an event, you always got you always put a smile on your face. So Chuck, who do you have?
Coach Jody Horman, the Leander ISD AD, who gave up her time to come in, be our halftime guest. Sorry, Sonny, that I jumped in and asked a couple questions that weren't on the script, but oh my God, what a delight. And the biggest thing, coaches, and you guys can identify with this, I asked her about, because we go to all the stadiums, and there's no question, and I'm now on record saying this, when you go to Leander ISD Stadium as home or visiting media, you are treated so incredibly well that you can't help but have a good broadcast whether your team wins or loses. And she said everybody in Leander ISD is held to a certain level, and you guys, especially coaches, that's true. It doesn't matter, even on or off the field, that's what it's all about. And Leander ISD is a great place to be.
Yeah, Darren Metcalf, Greg Cowles, all the stadium operators that do, with our Jumbotrons now and the stuff that's going on, video boards, sorry, said the wrong word, video boards, it's amazing. And her office staff with Coach Horman, but Coach Lamb, Coach Davies, Coach Jeremy Beal, they are first class, and they take care of us 100%. And the support they give us, not just in coaching and field, but they let us take care of our families, and they take care of us, and that's really important in this profession.
Yeah, it was a great interview, great talking to her, and knowing that she's working on. We got to work on getting her a helicopter. She's putting some miles on those cars. All the things she gets to go to. That's probably the best thing she said about her job is getting to see all the teams and how they progress, because she makes it out to practice. Now, maybe you can tell us when she shows up to practice, you kind of go, "Oh, what is she doing?"
No, honestly,
sometimes you don't even know she's there.
Yeah, you don't even know until you see a picture on Twitter, and then she's so approachable. She'll hold you accountable, but it's always just a fair conversation, and that I think that's rare. She always wants to hear all the sides, get to perspective, because there's times we make mistakes in our profession, and we don't always get it right, and there's little things that we don't do well, and sometimes you can be so scared because when they show up, you're like, oh boy, and that's what makes them special is they get out and to the games and see us in all those environments when there's not something wrong. So it's not the only time you see the AD is when you're in trouble. She is so present, and she'll call just to check on you.
Yeah.
Hey, how's everything? You need anything? And
she talked about the big board of all the places at practice. Well, we've only been here 2 times. We need to go there, and then they kind of just sort everything out. She said Coach Lamb is actually the king of Twitter. She's actually learning more and more about it, but she said he's really – they do put the presence out there to recognize the most important asset that we have, which is our kids.
If you've been – and I've been around – I haven't been in other places, but no coaches at work, and I listen to their stories, and I'm like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. I work for the best principal in the world, in Christine Simpson. I work for the best AD in the world, and Jody Horman, and we're in one of the greatest school districts in Texas. And so you look at all those things combined, it's pretty special.
Real quick, too, shout out to Coach Jacob Thompson and the volleyball team continuing to be in first place, undefeated in district, looking at the number 1 seed.
Yeah, I think we're at the halfway mark now.
Past one
we're on our way down, and I know he's got Marble this week, and then they got a big showdown coming up with Cedar Park again, and that could end up siding the first place overall finish in the district. As long as we keep doing, he's gone. What a tremendous job of losing the class he lost, and just go to social media and look at the class he lost. Starting at North Carolina, TCU, Oregon State, Texas Tech, and Washington, and it just keeps going. And they are big Big 12 Freshman of the Week, Player of the Week, and I mean they're just laying things out. And they had to find their identity. This group has struggled. The group was trying to be, sometimes they weren't, and he's got them right back to where their level play is, and they're going to look like they're headed for another district banner and headed for another playoff berth. That's awesome. The cross country's getting ready to go too. We're only a couple weeks out from our district meet. Coach Thompson, I think our girls are ranked like sixth in the state, and then we got a strong group of boys this year. Real excited to see how they ended up performing. And swim last week took a lot of accolades home with their big swim meet band. Had a great performance this last week on Saturday and took home some big time recognition for them. So, man, it's a great time to be a Raider.
Good time to be in Raider Nation and part of Raider Nation, and we're glad that you were part of Inside Raider Nation tonight, and look forward to the broadcast on Friday against Pflugerville homecoming. See a lot of alumni, and our special guest color commentator Brandon West will be in the booth with us in the absence of Mr. Chuck Licata. We'll miss him, but he will be in Houston calling games there. So for Mr. Chuck Licata, who's our KMAX Sports President, our producer tonight, for Director of Operations Merle Bertrand, Communications Director Christina Weber, Technical Director Suna Venkat, and QA tonight, Mitchell Padgett, back to KMAX Studios. For Rouse Raider head coach Josh Mann, this is Sonny Zapeta, voice of the Raiders, saying until next time, good night and God bless. Thank you for listening to KMAX Sports Vype Media Network.
Love you blue, you know that we do. We'll always be true, 'cause we love you blue.
This is the KMAX Sports Network.